Well, howdy folks. Welcome to episode 82 of Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be talking about another mech, the Hussar, the 30-ton ballistic missile. Okay? That make any sense? Alright. I'll just look at the 30-ton Hussar. It's kind of a Starling mech. We have a 914 with no jump jets. 914. This thing will fly. Literally will fly. It's fast. But it comes at a cost. It has 10 heat sinks, which are on the engine. Carries around a whopping 24 points of armor. 24. I think this thing has more internal structure points than it does armor. Let me see. There's 13, 20. Yep. 32 points of internal structure, and this thing carries around 24 points of armor. Now, the interesting thing about this mech that is very, very fast, it has a single weapon, a large laser, as you can see in the center torso, right up on top. Almost looks like a turret. Back in the day, it probably was a turret, but now it's just a kind of a nice looking little thing up top. Alright, so kind of gives you the feel of it's a walking tank in a way with a turret on it. I think that's what probably was the intention of it when they first designed this thing. And kind of like the same way you look at it, the four-legged Goliath. It used to have a turret on top. Nowadays it doesn't, but things changed over the years. Now, why do I call this thing a ballistic missile? Mostly because it's speed. This thing is fast. When you got something that goes 914 and has no armor, well, basically all you're saying is, I'm not going to slow down, I'm not going to stop, I'm going to be moving as fast as I can to get that large laser to a position. Now, typically, however, when I do use this thing every once in a while, just for the fun of it, is that usually it's like if we're playing against Comstar, this thing will come out if you're playing against Comstar. Maybe that's why it's white. Okay. The biggest thing I like to do with it is just, alright, I can move 14 hexes. I just kind of look someplace along the map or on a table, and I'm just like, alright, straight line, whew, across the board, as fast as I can. And then the opponents will look at it and go, oh, hey, this thing's moving. And then their scout, lance, or if they have any flankers or any of that nature, will try to intercept it, and it just kind of like a magnet. It just draws them in. And with the speed, it has a tendency to keep it alive, because typically you're trying to get over 10 movement, and you're going to be like, all right, I'm going for that 4 modifier. And that's the only way you keep this thing alive, because a medium laser, if this thing gets hit by a medium laser, it's automatically going to be a crit chance. All right. If you hit this thing with a large laser, about the only place you're going to be looking at is, well, almost everywhere. A lot of places you're going to blow an arm off. If he hits it in the leg is gone. That type of deal. So you're looking at a mech that definitely has to have speed in its favor to keep it alive. All right. If this thing gets hit by an AC-10, oh, it's toast. You know, that part is definitely going to be blown away. The only place you can handle an AC-10 hit or a PPC is in the center torso, and you do that once, and even if you do hit it once, the next time it gets hit there, it's a chance critical. Or actually, if you get hit with a PPC and a large laser in the center torso, it's gone. It's done. It's just a pile of junk. So you got to keep this thing moving. Now, why do I like kind of using this every once in a while is that, like I said, you just find yourself a line of attack. You fly up. This thing can be in engagement range like the first turn with that large laser. And you're just running, and just plinking away. This is kind of like a sniper, fast-moving sniper mech. You're just delivering that large laser to take pot shots at your opponent. And with something that's a little less than 550 battle value, it's kind of like throwing out a... I guess you could be better off sometimes using like a hovercraft or something. Like last time we talked about Pegasus. Hovercraft, that's about the same value. And they could do about the same thing. Now, if they ignore it and you're able to get this thing into the backfield behind everybody, so it's suddenly shooting at people in the rear arcs, you have a good chance of starting to punch holes through people's center torsos, right and left torsos with that large laser. And I've done that before where you fly up, they kind of ignore you, and then next thing they're going, oh, whoa, 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 this thing's got to go. And then they're trying to scramble stuff to chase you off, and it's like, fine, go ahead, chase me. And so they're chasing you away, and then you just go, I'm going to be, by the time you get to where I was, I'm already someplace else, and I'm shooting another mech on the other side of the board. And that's how I like using this thing, is just harass and drive circles around. And eventually somebody gets a lucky hit or two on it, and then next thing you know, it's just laying there dead. But, it's one of those, use it as a, like for Op4 when we're playing against Comstar, or somebody's attacking a hyperpulse generator or trying to control it or something, and you're using it as a scenario type of mech that the Comstar has. And that's pretty much how I use it. I don't necessarily have one. One time the White Wolves mercenary unit I had one in it, but we changed it a little bit. Let's just talk about that change here real quick. We got variants. There's very few, but Hussar Light has put a smaller engine in it. They put a 240, so that's a 30 ton. So they obviously dropped it down to an 814, which kind of slows it down. Not much. An 812 isn't nothing to sneeze about, and that puts probably, I think, 48 points of armor on it. Now, when I did run mine, I dropped it to a 711, and that was like 96 more points of armor on it, which turns this thing into something. It's maxed out armor at 30 tons. Then it can go out there and start harassing other light mechs and getting into engagements like that, and it can handle a few hits. So that's pretty much what I always like to do with mine, is just put a smaller engine in it. Put a, a 210 engine in it. So I'll drop it down so it's a little slower, but 711 is not really slow when it comes to a scout per se. And you got some good firepower, and you got armor. Alright. So then you can get in there and take a few hits possibly from smaller weapons and stuff, and then still get into someone's rear. Or you can just start punching face, because obviously this thing has two arms with no weapons in it. If you got no weapons, well, you can run up on somebody, hit them with the large laser, and because obviously running is 2 heat, large laser is 8, 10. So this thing never heats up unless it takes an engine hit, or it gets hit with a flamer or inferno round. So you can go up there and just do the old double tap on, try to put 2 punches into somebody on the punch table. So that's, the decent thing about it. Well, it's not a lot of damage, but you have that 1 in 6 shot of hitting somebody in the head, and they may fail their consciousness check, and then down they go. For, there's many times I've seen a mech go unconscious because they took 1 hit to the pilot, roll snake eyes, kaplunk, down it goes. And then if you're sitting right next to him, well, why not kick him? An inert mech with a kick, oh yeah, it's going to be a beautiful thing. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, it's not a mech that you can go home and write about. It's nothing fancy. It's not one you're usually going to see on the battlefield very often, but every once in a while I like pulling it out and just playing with it and having a little bit of fun. And like I said, it's usually in a OP4 situation. Now, if you want to put it into a, let's say we got some time here, put it in a lance. Work great is an eyes and ears scout, obviously. Run it in conjunction, let's say like a wolfhound, so now you have two large lasers in it. Back it up with something else. Let's say, well, you could throw a commando in there. That's pretty cheap, you know, for all the elements. And maybe, well, I wouldn't put a javelin, but you want something that's that's probably a Jenner. Run it with a Jenner, because between the let's say a Jenner and this, it's kind of like a faster version of the Jenner. And you throw that large laser, punch a hole, and then you know, with the standard Jenner, where you can have a couple medium lasers and machine guns and stuff like that, where you can or small lasers for that matter. However you want to outfit it. There's so many different ways a Jenner can be outfitted on a tabletop. And one's that punches the hole through it, and then the other one will rip, do the chance criticals with the other one. So you gotta put that in the lance of them. Yeah, you got a fast moving set of mechs that can get around the flank really quick and get in behind somebody. And like I said, if you get somebody behind somebody in the rear arc and start punching holes in them, they're going to start to maneuver themselves to try to either have those shots go into a flank instead, and then you're starting to control the mindset of your opponent and forcing them to play your way instead of you playing their way. And it's some of it is just plain psychological warfare. And if you can manipulate your opponents, hey, more power to you. That's part of war. Alright. If you got anything down below, like and subscribe. And if you had any time you've ever played with a Hussar on the tabletop and you had some fun with it, you know, put it down below. Alright. And we'll talk with you later. Hellcracks out.